You give me notice.
There's no time necessarily for manners.
Doesn't give my opponents much time to run.
I'm responsible for introducing the concept of MMP by accident.
They hate us. You know, they hate the system.
I used to call the old culture the concrete playground.
Cowards in this country have always been the smart ones.
I've been performing since I was born.
I can smell the uranium on it.
No mai haramai e te whānau, ki Aotearoa I tēnei pō, ko Magenta Kaos tōku ingoa.
Ko Detective Rogers tōku ingoa.
And welcome to our first night of Aotearoa tonight.
Yay!
We made it. We made it on
Yay.
time. I'm very happy. I'm sure people were going to roast me if we weren't. So,
We're setting a precedent, guys.
right? To be fair, I'm never on time for anything, so I am just glad that we managed to figure out all of our little tech support issues this morning. Oh, well, this morning, I mean, just before we went live. Just going to double check.
Morning for some of us.
And, yeah, so a good bit of tech support play around before we came live, which is fun as always. I'm going to have to actually just double check. I think I have lost me chat. There's me chat. Good old OBS likes to have a million different things I can load, which is great, but also means there's just a million more things for me to play with and look at.
Apparently I'm
Very what, say? Oh, I can't hear you. Are you talking? Oh, you've muted. Are you muted? Did you mute yourself? I don't know why I can't hear you. Guys, I swear we fixed this earlier. I can't hear you, buddy. For some reason you've just... There I can. Oh, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now, I think. Oh, no. Whatever you've done, turn that off. That's making a hella horrible noise. But I'm just gonna talk to the people in the chat while you figure out what the fuck you've done with your audio. How about we do that? Just come in, just turn it off and on again. It worked last time. But kia ora everyone. Thank you for the love. Yes, we do have a new intro, and I hope you all liked it because I think Detective Rogers has done an amazing job. Because I definitely couldn't have pulled that off. Very excited to have our first show tonight, though. Hopefully, Detective Rogers will be able to come back in very soon without too much of a thing. We had a whole thing before with microphones and issues, so apologies if there is small tech support issues. Oh, you're a bit quiet there, bud, but...
I'm still quiet.
Oh, no, there you go. You're coming in properly now.
It's a faulty cable.
Oh, okay.
Just bear with me.
No worries. Good old God. I haven't actually had a faulty cable in so long. Reminds me of back when you used to have your, like, the CD Walkman or, you know, the little tape players and having to sit there and try to, like, play with the chords so that you can hear it properly. And I'm glad to hear that you love the intro, Mr. Arvids.
Yes.
Oh, okay, we hear ya. Sweet. Hopefully that should be better for everyone. A little bit.
Reminder to get a new cable.
Right? I mean, to be fair, I think we get a bit used to not having cables a lot of the time these days.
It's true. You know what? Bluetooth. I should have gone Bluetooth.
Yeah, I was looking for my Bluetooth headphones earlier today, and I have no fucking clue where I've put them, so thought I might...
Bluetooth headphones. I lost the cable.
Jeez, look at these cable issues everywhere. Okay, apparently Rogers is quiet, so I'll see if I can turn him up for you guys, because I've got a little button that...
Okay.
Hopefully that's coming better better for everyone. But yeah, so I thought since this is kind of our first proper stream, and while I know everyone in the chat knows who we are, I thought since this is, you know, new channel and hopefully we'll have new people who will find us, I thought we might as well do a bit of a core YO, you know, who am I, from each of us, and then also a bit of a what are we, who are we, and what do we want to do with this channel and for the rest of this year kind of vibes. So would you like to start, Rogers, or would you like me to start?
It depends how loud I am, I think.
That's a fair point, actually.
I'll wait for people to say if I've been fixed yet.
Otherwise, maybe I can turn this up. Talk.
I'm talking.
How is that, everyone? If someone could give me a bit of an idea if that was a little bit louder, I'm hoping that hopefully someone will be able to... Okay, that's better. All right.
Better. Okay, cool.
I'm probably going to have to make my own ears hurt a little bit to turn you up, but I think I know what I've done to make it better. So
Okay.
let us know if any of the videos will now be too loud potentially, because I don't know how that's going to come through. But awesome. Yay. Look at us. We're fixing tech problems on the fly. How fancy are we?
I mean, you're fixing it.
Well, you know, the royal we. As Aotearoa
True.
tonight, you know.
Exactly.
But yes, so now that Detective Rogers is a bit more audible, would you like to give us a bit of an intro, who you are, what you want us to know about you?
These are good, heavy philosophical questions. Who am I? What am I? I was probably the wrong person to give this unrehearsed. Let's see. I'm a lurker. That's the most important thing about me. I'm in many different communities, many different aspects of life, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, well, here, I'll give you a few questions. So, like, in terms of whakapapa, is there any whakapapa you would like us to know about you, or any achievements? Like, I think we both have really expensive certificates, so maybe let the people know.
No, I'm like ashamed of all my accomplishments.
Oh, come on.
Okay. This is why you should have started, because I don't know where to start. I think you should start.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Rogers is feeling a little bashful. So I
I'm all shy.
All right. Well, as I've said, ko Magenta Kaos tōku ingoa. I was born in Rotorua. I grew up there pretty much until I was about 18. And then I lived in Tauranga for a little while. And then I moved down to Te Whanganui Atara, Wellington. I've been here for about 8 years, and in that 8 years, I have definitely grown a lot. I think one of the things that I find kind of led me to this journey is that I used to be someone who I think proudly identified as a centrist, who had some very left-leaning ideas that were also counterimposed by some very right-leaning allowances and tolerance that I grew up kind of taking on board. So when I came to Wellington, obviously it was a major culture shock because people here actually called you out on your shit, which is great. It's great because I definitely think it's helped me become a bit of a better person. And so now I proudly identify as a radical lefty who's got a diploma in IT and a bachelor's in psychology and Māori resource management. So, you know, bit of a grab bag there. I was trying to go for my bachelor's in IT, but I got so fucking bored with the shit that I didn't want to do because I'm not a fucking coder. Don't make me do that. So that's what kind of led me to change. And then, yeah, I've always been a bit of I was always one of those kids who like to call out, you know, injustices or be a bit of a fucking narc, to be honest. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but in our school we had peer mediators. Which was,
yes.
You had peer mediators? Oh, yes. Okay, someone who understands. So I was a peer mediator.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone who doesn't know what that was, it was essentially teachers trying to get kids to fix problems so they didn't have to, which I mean...
Exactly, that's pretty much it. They sat around in the staff room all day, so, you know, drinking coffee and laughing.
Yeah.
Like, send the kids out to solve the issues.
They used to give us little clipboards and a little hivers, and we used to be like, actually, you guys should, like, think about this, and then we'd have to mediate people through their issues.
Was it mandatory for you?
What, to become a peer mediator?
Yeah.
No, it was entirely, I believe, I think they kind of asked for people from each class, kind of vibes.
Okay, ours was mandatory, but you got a choice of two things. You could either be a mediator or you could do road patrol for the crossing.
I always wanted to do road patrol. I never got to do it.
Damn, I chose road patrol. That
I
was
so
sick.
would have preferred road patrol. Like, those fucking cool lollipops.
Yep.
Like, who the hell doesn't want to? Like...
Our school was too broke to have any lollipops. That was an issue. We just used our arm.
What? You just sending kids out onto the...
Yeah, you just said... Use your arm.
Oh my god. That is so bad. What the fuck?
Little fucking 10-year-olds.
Surely they at least put you in high visors so you can...
No wonder I got hit by a vintage tricycle.
You got hit by a vintage
Yes,
tricycle?
that's a story for another day, but
okay,
yes.
We're gonna have to revisit that conversation.
We will revisit that one at one point, I'm sure.
Someone note it down. That could be a side video.
When I was in primary school, I was hit by a vintage tricycle.
See, when I got hit by a car, but it was technically my nana that like ran over my own foot when she was trying to come out of a garage. So, and then she got mad at me because my cell phone that was in my pocket dented her car.
That's classic car brain.
Right?
Yeah, just fucking, you hit my car, you fucking pedestrian.
Yeah, no, she's a special woman. I love her.
Yeah, I had something like that not too long ago where I was, going along. I technically wasn't a pedestrian. I was on a scooter, but I was going along, and some taxi pulls out without giving way to the people on the footpath. Classic. So I sort of quickly go around because I didn't have enough time to stop, and sort of, I just put my arm out on the car just to stop me actually hitting the car,
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
Yeah. So I didn't go into it. Like I was sort of like leaning on like the tail, trying to get around because it was a small gap. Otherwise, I was probably just going to go right into it. Keep going. Get to the pedestrian crossing. The guy's mad as shit and like speeds round and just pulls. He pulls and stops on the pedestrian crossing. Stops on the pedestrian crossing, and I just go around him and I just go like that. Give him the wanker sign.
I'm also just laughing because everyone's roasting your audio in the comments. And sorry, Fano, nothing we can do about that. I guess with the audio that you do have, and given the background that you just heard, would you like to share anything with the fun?
How bad is it? Like, is it quiet? Is it
No, I think it's just it sounds kind of weirdly like echoey, crunchy kind of vibe. Well, someone described it as a little robotic, or like you're in an air hangar.
Okay, hold up 1 second.
Oof, we're doing more.
You tell me if it. Wait, you tell me if this is gonna be better now. Is this better now?
That is a little better. Yeah.
Everyone tell me if that's better.
I don't know. Keep talking. It does have some nice boominess to it, but still a little crunchy.
Maybe I need to turn it up at the source. Hold up.
Ooh.
Turn it up here. Hello?
I mean, I kind of preferred the last one, I'll be honest.
You preferred the last one? I'll go back then. Alright.
Someone said it's tin ass like... Oh, wait, sorry. The mod said it's tin ass like we're chatting through Skype and the year is 2008. And someone said better and worse, which I totally agree with.
Well, it sounds... Yeah, so it sounds like it's... Well, it almost sounds like it's using the...
Is it going through the right audio thing?
Well, it says it is. Oh, you know what? Hold up. I got an idea.
It's probably something really easy, isn't it?
Could be.
Alright, well, while you try to fix that, I might move into the who are we, since we have a bit of a tech support moment.
No, it wasn't simple.
Oh.
No.
Did you fix it, though?
I don't think so.
I mean, it doesn't sound too bad.
How about that?
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad.
I don't know.
I mean, it sounds fine now, I think.
The only other option is like rebooting my machine.
No, honestly, I think that's fine enough. The people.
Okay.
It's not like it's as bad as last week's fucking
you know what?
up.
I'm just gonna quickly check the YouTube feed, and that might give me a clue what it is.
All right, you do your little tech support. But yeah, so who are we at Aotearoa tonight? We are obviously two random fucking, I think we're young millennials, technically. I think. Are you older than me? I can't remember. Who knows? But yeah, so basically we just wanted to kind of add to the leftist kind of spaces that are putting out some news, having discussions, hopefully maybe kind of help add to the community building that we've been doing so far in terms of trying to just get more eyes on all the news since there's always so much going on. Also, apparently they reckon it's fine, so...
Yeah, it's not that bad, but yeah, there's definitely something weird going on.
Okay,
anyway,
down
look,
now, so.
it might be because I think we talked about doing some kind of noise suppression thing last week, so maybe that got enabled. Did you wind up doing that?
Nope. I don't.
Oh well. Anyway, move on with the show.
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, like, what do you kind of want to tell people about what we're doing, at least as a channel?
Oh well, I was gonna do my background, wasn't I? Still haven't done that.
Oh yeah. You go through both. Start with you. End it. This is a fucking mess.
Yeah, I know.
Just
Let's
go.
see. I was born hit by a tricycle. That was the highlight of my first 15 years. My name is not Rogers. If anyone wants to call me something, you can call me PJ if you want. That's probably good enough. What else?
Am I just learning your nickname's PJ? That's crazy.
If you, maybe it's not.
Do you want me to tell the people what I know about your name? No.
Oh shit.
So. Yeah, I won't dox you.
It is Gibbs. My last name is Gibbs. Okay. I was born in Dunedin. I grew up there. I moved to Wellington to study. Then I've been in several places around the country. I've lived in Central Otago. I now live in Auckland, and I got my degree in design innovation, and minored in film. And let's see, I wasn't right wing like you. I would say, not like, I wouldn't say you were right
No,
wing.
I had some toes. There was definitely some toes. Don't.
Yeah. What? No, but we all had some toes.
Oh,
I
for
think.
sure.
So,
For sure.
But my toes were I was an edgy person. So I'm a fucking edgelord. Spent my days on 4chan, not in a genuine way, like in an ironic way, where I thought there was a lot of people in there on the joke, being sarcastic, and I think there were. But then you get to a point where you're like, I think a lot of these people are serious.
Right.
You're like, oh god, who have I been hanging around with?
Oh no, absolutely.
So that's where I get a lot of my edgy tastes from, shit like that. Very early YouTube, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I watch stuff like Filthy Frank, iDubbbz, all that kind of crap. Stuff that wasn't good for your brain. And now I'm 30 and flirty and thriving, and
You are the same age.
Yep, we're same age.
1994.
Hell yeah. And yeah, that's I've learned to care, as my favorite arc in all of film and media is someone learning to care.
I love
that. That is the best arc, and it's applicable to almost every film.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I also find like in terms of that stuff, I definitely know for a fact that my ability to go as far left as I've gone is just by trying to care more and actually like thinking and being empathetic. So yeah, that's just, I guess, a little bit about us. And then in terms of what we're doing here, is there anything you want to...
Well, so my initial, I guess, purpose for wanting to make this show is I want to me, there's only one rule. It's got to be New Zealand focused. That's really it. At the end of the day, we've put no other, I think, limitations on it at all. But my sort of goal, at least, is to make it more community-oriented, try and put more of a spotlight on local issues, and that partly, again, goes into sort of my journey going from, I used to be pretty much fully foreign policy focused. I didn't give a shit about what was going in the local politics of my own country. I was one of those people who was like, took John Clark a bit seriously. I was like, yeah, we got it pretty good. Don't know how lucky we are, you know?
Oh, yeah. We don't know how lucky we are.
But, now I've completely 180'd. I think it's once that, once you see the shit, you start losing that stuff, you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize, like, that could actually be a threat, like...
Oh, absolutely.
Equal rights, all that kind of shit, so, yeah.
We've both gone woke, as the
we both went woke.
And and I love it. I love being woke. It's much better than... Because I feel like, ironically, when I wasn't woke, I was so much more angry. Like, I get a little stressed and angry these days, but not in the, like, actually hateful way that I feel like I used to, which, I do like kind of reflecting on that, even if I go, ooh, fuck. Past me had some fucking beliefs and opinions, I tell you what. I mean, I also used to believe that aliens help build pyramids. So, we grow up, we learn things aren't.
Oh, no, I don't. That's a different thing. I don't think there's an excuse for that one.
I mean, I literally have a tattoo, man.
I mean, that's kind of cool, though.
Oh, no, I do. I think the tattoo goes pretty hard. And for me, it just represents, who I used to be. Remind me of where I've come from so I don't forget how people can think in a certain way. Because I think being a little bit closer to that side does, gives a bit of insight.
You should build on the tattoo. Put like a tree coming out to show growth.
Oh, nah, see, I got plans. So
okay.
We're going on a quick side tangent here. Sorry, Fano.
He's a man with a plan.
This side of my arm is going to be for like TV, movie, anime kind of things. We've got Star Wars, we've got Black Butler the anime, and this represents Ancient Aliens, the TV show. And on this side, it's going to be like gaming and music. So far, I've got actually Joji. I've got a Joji tattoo.
Oh, nice.
And I have a tattoo that represents My Chemical Romance and Avenged Sevenfold. So, I already have plans. The arms they're called for. The rest
I have
of my
no
body.
Tattoos.
Oh my god, you don't have a tattoo? That's crazy.
Nah. I mean, firstly, they cost money first.
Oh,
that's
yeah, this was back when I mean, to be fair, some of them were cheap as well, to be fair.
Secondly, I can't think of, like, I am a... my mind's easily changed, like, I would decide on something, get the tattoo, and then be like, you know what? I should have got that other tattoo. I should have got this other thing. And I'd constantly be regretting it, so...
No, that's fair. See, for me, it's less so regretting, and it's more so having a hierarchy of, like, okay, which one gets to come next? Because, like, there's 2 more tattoos. Oh, actually, I forgot. I have another one. I have a cute little a mushroom guy that I got for free. That was the one that I got for free on the Valentine's Day episode that you and I were doing. That was the reason I was almost late. Yeah. Which reminds me, I've got to give you the date, but when Ems gets married, you got to help me out. I just remembered that I'm supposed to tell you that, so there we go. Live air chat.
I guess I'm not invited to the wedding then.
Really? That's what you took from it? I'm not invited to the wedding. I don't think Pat and Joey are either. Oh, to be fair, Pat didn't invite me to his wedding either. You know what? When I get married one day...
We should all be hurt.
I don't know if they're getting invited now. Nah, of course. They'll be invited.
Yeah, we could have a fake wedding.
Actuals? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you and me could do it. And then
Yeah,
just not
Magenta, Kaos, and Detective Rogers can get married.
Hell yeah.
Don't know.
It'd be like when they married Dumbledore and Gandalf.
Wait, who's Dumbledore and who's Gandalf then? Surely I'm Dumbledore.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I'm
Yeah,
Gandalf.
cool.
I'm definitely Gandalf.
Yeah, no, that I'm glad we didn't even see. This is why we're gonna get married. We didn't even have to
There you go.
have an
No
argument,
disagreement.
talk about that at all. Good to know.
We know who's the top, and it's not me.
It's just because you're lazy.
Yeah, I know. But...
Anyway, I guess we should probably go into some actual fucking news rather than random shit posting hours.
I suppose.
Which, don't get me wrong, I love random shit posting hours.
I don't know. We should go down memory lane. What's 4chan up to?
Oh God! Now that's a different fucking. See, we can do that. I'm happy
Didn't
to
it
do
get
that.
blown up or something?
Nah.
Didn't it get destroyed?
4chan will never die. It's like a weed, in the garden. It's like when you plant mint in your garden. Shit's gonna be fucking. Oh, someone's just missed the start. Don't worry, all you've missed is us talking about ourselves and going on random side tangents about random bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
very narcissistic stuff.
We were waiting for you, clearly, Jeff, so thank you for coming here so that we can actually continue with the rest of the show. I appreciate
Welcome,
it.
Jeff.
Right? Wake up, Jeff.
I was going to say that, but then I was like, he probably got there when he was a kid, maybe, who knows?
He is woke. He is on the left side, so he did wake up. You don't need to ask him anymore. But yes, so I don't know if anyone in the chat has seen some of the videos that Duncan Webb has put out on his Instagram. I thought we might have a wee nosy at a couple of videos. So I'm just gonna change our screen slightly, and then I'm gonna press buttons and remember which ones to press in what order. We're gonna press that one, and then we're gonna press this one, and then I'm gonna do that. And yes, it worked. Yay for technology. I also love the fact that I can do stuff on the fly. So this is one of the first videos that we'll see from Duncan Webb. When he's talking to Seymour.
Documentation. There were never flower dust regulations in force that required 10 part per million entities. So, and time and again, you've suggested that you may change the rule to make it go back. Do you want to correct that, or are you going to keep saying something which is not accurate?
Well, I think you could argue something that's not precise. However,
I would call it making shit up.
That's not even a good semantics argument. It's like complete synonyms.
I know. And there's also just, I think, it is a bit echoey. Okay, good to know, fam. I will see what I can do to change that, because I did hear that when we were testing, but I was hoping that that was just me, not for y'all. Actually, what if no, I don't want to mute.
Should have gone StreamYard.
Oh, shush. You set it up then, huh? Huh? Yeah,
no,
that's
good.
what I fucking thought. Lazy bottom. Well, I mean, all you missed there at the end is that Duncan says, I would call it making shit up, which I just thought was a fucking banger line. I also just love the cringe ways that they try to have to get around saying you're a liar. Like, it is deeply, deeply funny to me. I mean, it's not precise. Like, fucking hell. That's some real pick-me shit.
Yeah, he usually has a decent enough vocabulary to try and grasp some kind of smarmy word out of his ass too. He must have not had his coffee that day or something.
Yeah, no, actually, that's a really fair point. He does seem like he was a little sleepy. All right, now I'm gonna see.
Scrutiny week's tiring.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it must be genuinely so tiring for, like, our MPs to be, especially those who are on the opposition at the moment. Like, those guys are having to combat so much. Like,
I mean, just watching it was like just had me knackered by the end of it. Just absolute travesty.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really their only kind of time to really start hitting those real, like, hard points of, like, what the fuck are you actually doing at the moment? So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that they're going to have to put in a lot of extra work right now. And I'm sure they've probably spent months, or at least, you know, the last month or so, just trying to prepare for this moment. I will see if I can. I'm gonna try one setting, and I'll hopefully it should be fine. I'm gonna mute myself and see if that helps somehow. I don't know if it will, but it might.
In the meeting, that it was unnecessary to consult on pay equity because it didn't affect private property rights.
I've never said that.
On Guy and Espina, you said, when asked why you didn't consult, you said it didn't interfere with the free use and exchange of property.
No, I haven't said that.
There's good lawmaking, which includes consulting with the people affected. If we look at something like the pay equity changes, the $13 billion in savings there, you breached both of those, didn't you? I mean, you rammed it through under urgency, it was retrospective, and there was no consultation. So wouldn't this have completely breached that?
So let me ask you this question. Where in that law did we in any way restrict people's use and exchange of private property?
As is the most important thing, as we know.
Right? Like, just does not answer the question at all. So I'm very glad that I fixed the echo. So, yay.
Yay!
Actually, I'm kind of curious. Can you talk, Rogers? And I want to see if people can hear you. Because there's also a small chance that things are just doubling up because of that. So if you guys, if he is just currently muted, please let me know. Otherwise, I will have to do something different, which is fine. But, oh no, is that actually better? Damn. Means that I can't hear you. That's something I'll have to figure out for next week. So, actually, what if I go down this way? Oh, I know. What if I just turn this down? Talk?
Because I was fine last week. Everything was fine.
Oh, nah, that turned... Is he down... Is he quiet, though, Fano? Or... Because if I just made him quiet, then I think I know what to do.
I was on It's in the Ballot like 2 nights ago. Everything was fine. They didn't have issues.
You were with someone else?
I was with someone else.
Nah, how was it?
Yeah, it was good. I got drunk.
Okay, you are quiet again. Good to know. That's alright. I'll just turn it back up. We'll live with it. We'll deal with it. To be fair, I know they use yet a different one, so... Too many different ways to do this. So I've turned them back up. And should be all good. But yes, so I guess I just find it a bit ridiculous that, like, we've just seen that David Seymour has lied twice, and he just gets to go, it's just inaccurate? Like, what? It just, I don't know. What do you think about those?
Well, I'm curious if they have the same rules in that in the committee hearing that they have for the scrutiny week, that you can't accuse someone of lying.
I mean, I would assume so, given the ways they try to avoid saying you lied.
Well, they seem to use a lot of the same sort of rulings, like things being unparliamentary and unbecoming of a minister, which is just more bullshit Westminster crap. Just to, you know, that's. All that stuff just goes back to, you know, this separates us from the savages.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of shit. So, speaking of, I just started watching Brave New World. There was like an adaptation of that, like a few years back, I think. I just started watching it now. and they were doing this whole thing where it's like, you can come to this like how you do like an old West Town type thing where everyone's like recreating the old West, but they're doing that for like the savages or something, and they were all like having sex in the street and stuff, and I was like, you know what, this seems pretty good. I want to live with the savages.
Ah, yes, a story that involves a futuristic caste society. Ooh, that sounds like definitely some interesting concepts. That's one word for it. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting little thing that saw out of those. But like Scrutiny Week, honestly, has given so much at the moment. So here is we're gonna look at something else. Oh god.
The media's been on it, like I'd say, like with a lot of the stuff that's come out in Scrutiny Week, at least from what I've seen, because I've not been keeping up that much with the media and stuff. Like I've been watching Scrutiny Week itself, but from some of the news I've seen, that they've actually been having clips. Like I think they had an entire story the other day, didn't they? It was on BHN.
Yeah,
that was based.
They've had quite. I mean, to be fair, BHN has had a fucking chock-a-block bloody week this week. I mean, 3 in 1 day. 3 in 1 fucking day.
Going hard.
Right.
Because it seems like it's had a bit more weight than last year's Scrutiny Week, but that might have been partly because just the government hadn't been in that long.
Yeah. Perhaps. Well, and I think like there was a lot still going on with like, you know, Hikoi protest type stuff, you know, like the Treaty Principles Bill was really kind of like taking a lot of, thankfully was taking a lot of spotlight, because I mean it needed to, but I think it also meant that, you know, again, they do these things where they target stuff so that we have to put all of our effort into here, so that while we're over here, they're over here fucking us from a different angle.
I think the most significant thing maybe is they've had a year and a half at this point of just lying through their teeth saying bullshit.
Yeah.
Which has given a lot more grounding to try and scrutinize them against. Even then, watching Scrutiny Week was just so frustrating because a lot of the chairs, I think it was the chair, the person who's like leading the committee, was always like trying to give the person being interviewed every chance they could to ramble or monologue, and it would just go into irrelevant stuff. The amount of times they, like, you know, watching Nicola Willis go into her whole blaming Labour shit still, where it's like, look, you're a year and a half in, just fucking crack on with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Be accountable for
the
shit that you have done.
This is your Scrutiny Week, not the last government's.
Exactly.
It's not the Greens Scrutiny Week, you know. It's holding people to account of what they've actually done.
Right.
So.
And speaking, that's a good segue, because we have a member of the Green Party from Scrutiny Week that we'll have a look at. I also just remembered there's another button I keep forgetting to push, and it should hopefully mean that now our faces are off the screen, and people should be able to hear us. Yay! So we'll just look at this video from Benjamin Doyle. This was mere hours before the massive fire broke out at the Auckland New World, I believe. So we'll just have a listen to Benjamin.
Colleague from Labour for starting us on FENZ. This topic is really important to all of us. And I think noting and building on the comment around the decrease in funding from a previous 10 million to 8 million, and that's kind of been a flat line without any adjustment for inflation. I'm interested around particularly your expectations around investments in the aerial machinery and the aerial trucks. We've seen recently numerous occasions.
And here it says, lives at risk without more aerial fire trucks. Firefighters agree to work on previous blacklisted aerial truck. Firefighters left high above recycling plant fire after another aerial truck breakdown. And another Auckland aerial fire truck breaks down, leaving firefighters frustrated.
there have been incidences.
Oh yeah. Also, Hamilton has had to tell Auckland that they are not allowed to borrow their one anymore because they are, Auckland have to keep borrowing their one, and so yeah, now they're just like, we can't do that.
Fucking get you.
Where aerial trucks are not available, they break down, they put people's lives at risk because they are not functioning to the standard they need to be functioning at. If you are decreasing funding from 10 million down to 8 million without adjustment for inflation, and we're not seeing trucks being invested in or bought for decades, and no increase, I understand, because I've questioned you about this before, that there are replacements coming. We haven't been given a date for them to be implemented, these aerial trucks. So we're waiting for that. Just this week, Waikato has said, Auckland, you can't use our aerial truck. There are no aerial trucks available in the upper North Island.
There's none available. We're just going to take a moment to let that sink in.
I might need a bit of context. Who's being talked to?
This is so they were referencing the questions that they've asked during question time.
Okay.
I don't know if I paused on the screen, or maybe they're about to come up. I know that there was some. They put in a bunch of the Hansard question times from them.
This is putting people's lives at risk, including firefighters. We're decreasing. Well, I know one of those trucks costs about $2 million. So if we're decreasing funding without adjustment for inflation, and you're saying we are not going to cut back on investment, how are we going to ensure that we have the machinery we require to meet the increase in population, to meet the increase in demand, to meet the increase in extreme weather events, which will lead to fires and flooding? Because we know fire and emergency don't just respond to fires, they respond to all sorts of emergencies. What are your expectations around that? How can we see this budget ensuring that those really essential, expensive pieces of equipment are going to be delivered in a timely way? We can't keep having machinery breakdown and putting people's lives at risk. So I'm really keen to hear from you about that particular focus. Thank you to my colleague.
Which, I mean, yeah, like, that's kind of fucking important. Like, I didn't realize that our fire department was in such a bad fucking way, to be honest.
This is the first I've heard about it too, so...
Well, and that's exactly it. Like, I think that's why, like, I'm really glad that obviously, like, I go on Instagram a lot. Yeah, do I sometimes spend a bit too fucking long on there doom scrolling? Sometimes, yes. But, like, it's, I find it's been really good, especially from, people like Duncan, people like Benjamin. Also, I mean, people like Chloe, who have always been, and Tamitha and all that, who have always been really onto it with, like, putting clips from either, question times or bill readings and actually clipping them and putting them out so that we can kind of see them, because obviously no one's going to go through and scrub every single scrutiny week interview video that is available. That's far too much for, everyday people to be able to keep up with, which is why we need more journalists and people who can kind of actually report on these things. And because, like, I don't, like, obviously we've seen, like, there's actually been quite a few reports about, these fires and these issues, but clearly none that have been kind of, I guess, positioned in a way that really highlights the fact that it's insane that the North Island is basically without an adequate amount of aerial fire trucks. Like, it's just, I mean, we saw, what was it, last year? Was it last year or the year before? I don't know. It feels like everything happens so fast. But, the Gisborne floodings and all of that happened, it was like last year or the year before now. Can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, like in the Te Tairāwhiti area, like, there was so many, like, I remember there was videos of people being stuck on roofs and stuff like that, and trying to, get to safety. But like, it's insane that, you know, I also just realized someone's pointed out in the chat, this government can't do transport. First the ferries, now fire trucks. And that's a really fucking good point, is that we, like, at a fundamental level, our basic infrastructure is being severely neglected.
I don't know what that frickin' pothole fund's doing either, because I tell you what, I'm just non-stop coming across potholes and they're not getting fixed, so I don't know what's happening there. Yeah.
And
absolute garbage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, they're trying to say, oh, we need to put more money into roads and potholes, and also we're spending too much money on road cones. But we're also not going to spend, we're going to cut, because that's the thing, is they say they're not going to cut anything, but by not increasing the money that they give to Fire and Emergency New Zealand, that it's actually meeting inflation, that in of itself is a cut. Like, the fact that they're having them break down all the time. How much, like, it's kind of like, you know, when you've got a landlord who would rather just keep repairing your shitty, like, fridge rather than replace it, you know, and you're like, dude, you're spending more money sending someone to fucking fix this thing than if you just went and got something, like, not just new, but probably a little more expensive so that it's actually going to last.
That's when sabotage helps a little bit, I find. It's worked a charm for me in the past.
I know, but how are we going to sabotage the government into giving us fire trucks?
This is a good question. Maybe we should go down that road.
Right?
How can we sabotage this government?
Oh, God.
I think they're doing a pretty good job, unfortunately.
Well, that's the thing, is that they're doing it while fucking us at the same time. And I don't know about you, but I did not consent to this intercourse. But yeah, I'm really glad though that we have people, like, and that's why I'm really glad that we have some decent people in our opposition parties, you know, that are really trying to cover, like, important things. Because yeah, like, I would have thought, out of all of the things that a government like national should support, you'd think that something like that would be on a higher priority for them. Like, a good response in terms of emergency services reflects good upon them.
Yeah, well, their entire focus seems to be on just police, really, which
but
is...
even then, like, the police weren't getting the increases to wages that they were asking for.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
and they
I agree.
On strike, so I mean, if even the fucking police aren't being...
Just coming from, like, a policy perspective, no one ever seems to talk about the fire trucks or, you know, St. John's or anything like that. I find. No,
absolutely.
I think the only time I remembered St. John's being mentioned was during the pandemic, where they kept saying that they weren't going to let it go under. That's the only time I remember St. John's being mentioned in the government, like, the last 10 years. So.
Yeah, no, it is kind of... I guess it's not wholly surprising, though, when I think about it. I guess being more supportive of the police is definitely a lot more right-wing, authoritarian, rather than caring about the people who, I don't know, help and look after those in need. Like, that's probably a bit too woke for their blood, I guess.
Well, it's, and I guess you could probably see the fire department a bit more like the water infrastructure almost. It's like it's an expensive asset that you have to put quite a bit of money into, unlike just putting a few new cops on the beat, I guess. Which I think is one of those things where I wouldn't be shocked. Someone should probably do a bit of looking into this, but it's probably one of those things again where it's just being cans, just being kicked down the road, that kind of thing. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's definitely like, because I mean, I'm like, you know, one of the things I found is, like, in May, one of the Auckland's only available aerial fire truck had major issues hours before attending a McDonald's that was burning down.
Wait, was that over in, like, Howick? That one?
Quite Parnell. No, that's the trucks from Parnell.
I mean, not many McDonald's burned down, so it must be that
Must be
one,
the same
surely.
one. Yeah, I can share my screen so you can see what it looks like. I'm sure it is, but yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's that one that looks like it.
And a second fire truck in as many weeks has broken down. One of Auckland's 2 aerial trucks had a hydraulic issue hours before attending a major fire. Fire which left the building gutted and is being treated as suspicious. And it's just unsurprising but disappointing to see that something so fucking important, like, you know, firefighters, emergency service response, and, you know, like we've said, the ambulances as well. I like this comment here from Jeff. No fence at the top and no ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. So fucking right, mate. So fucking right. Like, they really are pushing us off the cliff and making sure that we don't survive, because otherwise...
I lived with a firefighter like 10 years ago, actually, now that I think about it, and he didn't mention once anything about it. The only thing he complained about was the fact that they had to do like a lot of CPR stuff now, like basic, you know, first aid kind of stuff, like all those kinds of things, which he was like, I didn't sign up for this.
I mean... Although, I've just found, you know how you get related articles? I was just noticing on the side, not only is it the aerial fire trucks, but fire and emergency urgently restarting work on plan to replace big ladder trucks. That's kind of like the bread and butter of firefighting. Like, I mean, and then they're getting less funding, which I'm sure will affect their ability to... you know, get these more big ladder trucks. Oh wait, sorry. They well, is those actually so called? Oh, okay. Big ladder trucks can be classed as aerial. But yeah, the Green Party pointed out that vital maintenance was being deferred, which I'm assuming is why we had it needing attending to right before that fire, which is just, again, showing... We're gonna have to add these to the fail trail, to be honest. I think it's a pretty intense fail on this government's part. But I guess with that, we should probably have a look at one of our next videos. Do we want to hear from Chloe first or talk about Kainga Order?
I guess go Chloe first, I guess.
Alright, we'll go with Chloe. Let's have a look at the Queen and see what she... So this is I believe, an interview that she was doing, and so this is the Greens putting a case for investment to reduce fiscal risk.
It's the real-world correlation to a withdrawal of government spending, particularly on infrastructure and the kind of services that New Zealanders rely on. You then see a correlation in increased private debt. So, in fact, all that Nicola Willis is doing is displacing the burden from government or us collectively as a country onto individual households, and we're seeing that reflected in growing inequality, growing poverty, and growing homelessness.
So from here, how do you intend to continue, to run this campaign that you've got going? I mean, obviously it's a build-up through to next year's election.
Yeah, we're getting a bunch of brain boxes in the room on Tuesday morning, including Ian Ball, who, as you know, had quite a lot to do with the Public Finance Act. So this is all part and parcel of starting to, from a really credible perspective, showcase some of our thinking and also starting to unpack some of those assumptions that we think, frankly, are junk. We're really proud to be leading the conversation here and setting the agenda, putting something out there that we expect to be critiqued. We are really looking forward to the public debate that should ensue as a result of us putting these ideas on the table. If you were to look at...
But yeah, that was what she had to say about that. I mean, any thoughts there, Monsieur Roger?
Oh, you'll be delighted to know I was testing my mic audio during that, so I actually Missed about half of it.
Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus Christ. For someone who made such a professional intro video. Fucking hell.
I should have. Usually I've tried to watch a lot of this stuff beforehand. But,
Alright, let's rewatch that again.
Okay, alright, I'll stop fucking around. I'm sorry. It's
alright, it's alright.
Hands are behind my back now.
Right?
I promise.
Hands off the keyboard.
At the real world correlation to a withdrawal of government spending, particularly on infrastructure and the kind of services that New Zealanders rely on, you then see a correlation in increased private debt. So, in fact, all that Nicola Willis is doing is displacing the burden from government or us collectively as a country onto individual households. And we're seeing that reflected in growing inequality, growing poverty, and growing homelessness.
So from here, how do you intend to continue, to run this campaign that you've got going? I mean, obviously it's a build-up through to next year's election.
Yeah, we're getting a bunch of brain boxes in the room on Tuesday morning, including Ian Ball, who, as you know, had quite a lot to do with the Public Finance Act. So this is all part and parcel of starting to, from a really credible perspective, showcase some of our thinking and also starting to unpack some of those assumptions that we think, frankly, are junk. We're really proud to be leading the conversation here and setting the agenda, putting something out there that we expect to be critiqued. We are really looking forward to the public debate that should ensue as a result of us putting these ideas on the table.
All right, now that my ADHD is back in the box. Are you there, Mage? Uh-oh. We might have lost you. I can't hear you.
Never mind. I was testing you. I muted my actual mic.
Going without a hitch is great.
Oh. Hey. Given your audio issues, I think you can forgive me for
you can pay attention, so that's good.
Anywho.
No, look, I mean, spot on. Like, that's pretty much what, I mean, we all know that's what Nicola's doing. It's just pushing, basically, her and the squad are just fucking trying to push on any form of government responsibility to its citizens onto the people itself, and they're sort of just gone for the whole what's Ayn Rand's thing, selfishness, the virtue of selfishness. Yeah, I think it was a book she wrote.
I actually don't know that one.
Yeah, good. You don't want to.
I mean, that is fair. I mean, this government's definitely got such a theme of just always doing these types of things to people, and so I guess, I mean, it does unfortunately make sense, but I mean, it is frustrating to see the way that that burden is being displaced, and I feel like that also kind of goes into one of the other things that I was looking at about how obviously Kāinga Ora decision to scrap public housing builds is one of the newest ways that this government is just further exacerbating.
I mean, I thought they already did that, but maybe it was they paused them.
Yeah, no, I think that, they were basically deciding, and this is more now, they've actually gone, because I believe they've announced that they've cancelled 212 projects, which is 3,479 homes.
Which is just absolutely fucking... These guys were like trying to get clout from these builds in Parliament. I remember though, who was it? Chris Bishop was bragging about how many houses they'd built and going like, I guess you could put that on the previous government, I suppose. Like, I think eventually he managed to cede that point, but. I mean, the fact that they were speaking about it proudly, like they did it, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I mean, so Kāinga Ora, scrapped hundreds of developments that would have delivered nearly 3,500 homes, and will sell a fifth of its vacant land.
So they know it's a great initiative. They know adds value to social welfare, to the wealth of the nation.
Ooh, don't say social welfare.
They're ready to brag about it. The only real criticism they had was the efficiency of the entire project, wasn't it? Really?
Well, that's what they say, but then it also says the move will save up to $220 million.
But then they go and scrap it outright.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I guess your efficiency. Maybe they just realized, like, hey, we can't do this any more efficient. So.
I mean, I don't even think it's. I feel like that would be more in terms of a like, efficiency rather than like that wouldn't really to me scream efficiency more in we can't milk as much profit out of this because I don't even feel like it's efficiency. Yeah. It's them trying to think. It's like the lunches. What is the easiest, cheapest, and shittiest way that we can deliver a good enough product without actually having to really invest in these poor people?
And I think that was definitely their aim going in, but it's the fact they put it on pause and it's taken this long to decide that they're just going to completely exit altogether makes me think they were looking at a way to do it cheaper or quicker or something like that, so they could, still achieve some kind of housing build count and still, claim that kind of clout. And pat themselves on the back, say, hey, look, we got it done, but they must have, I think, realized after all this time assessing it that, hey, we can't do it and it makes significant savings. So I think they need the win, and their win was just, let's exit and say,
Yeah, I guess they're trying to say that 220, but I think that's where for me is, I think had this been one of a few times that they had done the whole, we're just going to scrap a bunch of stuff and say, oh, it's because it's too expensive, despite the fact that we've given $2.9 billion to fucking landlords. Like, it feels like, at this point, it feels like they've overspent their budget and they're just flailing to find whatever fucking change they can under the couch, kind of.
I mean, we know that from literally what happened just before budget day. They just axed equal pay. It's anything they can do right now. They're basically what the government's right now doing is that they've got nothing in the bank and they're going to the pawn shop with everything they can find that's of value to get a bit of money out of.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like, it's frustrating to see them always trying to pass this off as a necessity when it's a choice. And the choices are all fucking inhumane and lacking in empathy. Like, here, McNulty says, homelessness is increasing at unprecedented levels and 15,000 construction workers have lost their jobs since this government came in.
I was going to say, how many jobs were lost from that? And that's... I would love to see that put into a... economic value, like a monetary number.
Yeah, actually.
This would have added this much to the economy if you had been employed. And these people, they would have been spending their pay, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, God, yeah. Because, I mean, to be fair, we all know that builders in New Zealand all live off fucking pies and V's from the fucking petrol station. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, let's do some calculations on the fly. So let's assume that they're on a little bit more than minimum wage, especially because there's going to be a diverse range of builders, but I bet you a bunch of the ones that lost their jobs were also probably the younger ones who don't have as much experience. Let's just go crazy and say that they get $28 an hour. You times that by 40 hours a week. And then you times that by 52 weeks. I mean, that would be not including holidays, but fuck it. We'll go for 52. And then you times it by 15,000. And that is 873,600,000.
How much do they save?
Well, they save 220 million. Yeah, and then 873 million, like you pointed out, probably would have been put mostly back into the economy.
Oops.
Which now it's just going Oh, and not only that, they've lost their jobs, but that's also not including the monetary value of the land they're choosing to sell, and then the exponential returns that could have been, you know,
also the value of more productive people who would have been in housing, who would have had more productive lives, who could have gotten jobs, who could have also in turn added to the economy, and they would have had a house to go buy things to put in that house, furnishings, etc.
Right.
Lots of, it's like you need people to have an economy.
Exactly. And that's just, it's insane to me that, like, we kind of knew this was coming, I guess, but it still still surprises me when it actually happens. Because, Nicola Willis pledged a 1,000 per year net increase on social housing, but they're not going to do that.
Just 1,000 yen?
I think it was homes, I believe. I think they were trying to...
Oh, 1,000 homes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Wait, what is she saying?
Yeah, Chris and Tama said they would build more houses than the previous Labour government. Now they're selling houses and going backwards in some regions. I also saw, I think I saw someone in the chat mention that, one of the streets that they cancelled here in Nelson, I used to live on in the early 2000s, and the state houses we lived in then were in bad nick. And I'm sure that's probably another aspect, is I wouldn't be surprised if there's like maintenance and stuff that they're just, again, short-term thinking of like, okay, how can we just kind of make as much now, because we're just trying to make it to the next election.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we've also heard about the fact that Kainga Order is basically gonna refocus things to be about being landlords, which, I mean, we know that how much this government fucking loves landlords, don't we? It's,
I mean,
very
seems to be all that gets like talked about. Them, police, business owners.
Yeah, I guess tobacco stuff a bit. Well, I mean, lobbying, all the lobbying stuff, you know. They love to have their guns and their tobacco and... Oh, yeah, it's... But, oh, man, actually, I think there's a little meme... Oh, wait, I showed this last night on BHN, but you know what? Let's look at it again, because...
I still haven't watched the show.
I was going to say, you weren't there last night, so you wouldn't have seen it, so...
I was busy being ill.
How dare.
I know.
How dare you catch someone else's germs.
I think it's partly why I'm a bit drifty tonight, too. I'm
Honestly,
still recovering.
Yeah, the brain fog when you get sick is not really that fun.
No.
But, for a wee palate cleanse, because my brain is feeling very angry, why don't we look at this funny little meme? Oh, I didn't turn the sound on. Yeah.
Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck the fucking off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck the fucking off!
Oh, every time.
That's a great still.
I know, right? Like, oh. See, now I feel better. I feel like that kind of energy is what I needed right about now, because, my God, if we could tell them to fuck off, that would be so cool. And that's one thing I just still find frustrating, is that we're sitting here watching our Deputy Prime Minister lying consistently, and just, yeah, I'm sick of seeing people just lying constantly and not being able to do anything about it. Like, it's just insane to me that we can just watch all of this happen and have no mechanisms to actually do anything about it.
Maybe it's time we just dismantle Parliament. Just get rid of it. Just one person, one vote. Everything.
Yeah.
Back to the full democratic system. We can all wear togas too.
So I have no idea what I've done.
Direct democracy. Yeah, I don't know. You've broken something.
I've broken something, guys. Oh, wait, did I fix it? I fixed it. I turned it off and on again and it fixed it. There we go.
All I can see is Chloe still.
Oh, that's all you can see? Okay.
That's all I can see.
Don't know why you can see that because I closed that. But
I believe this stream is nothing but black.
oh, it's probably you might be a bit behind. From what I can see, it's on the screen. And also for the chat, there was 20 fucking wax. Karen? I kind of forgot her name last night, so I'm really glad that someone reminded me after the show.
We did go down memory lane.
Yes, we did, didn't we? Because in case y'all don't know, we sometimes go hang out in the Discord after a Friday night. Oh yes, actually, we will look at this other... And hopefully I don't fucking break it again, but we'll have a look at this other video. It's a little memey. It's a little memey, but it's more like a... It's news memey, which we love. And I'll make sure I turn the sound on.
Hey, I can see it.
Yay! And then I press this. Oh yeah, it's already on. And then...
What the fuck is this?
Pardon? Who is this? Oh, sorry, Duncan. Just reminding you to tell people you've only got 5 days left to submit against the regulatory standards bill.
That's all right, Whānau. Timely reminder. This coming Monday, the 23rd at 1 p.m, submissions close for the regulatory standards bill. So make sure you grab your whānau, your friends, your neighbour, and anyone else you can grab to make a submission. Get it in on time.
And that was 4 days ago.
Yeah, no, that was. So that's not current, but I thought it was a good little... I loved that video. I thought it was fun, because I remember seeing it being like, okay, alright, pop off. I love the kind of early 2000s Scream kind of scary movie vibes.
As much as they are telling everyone to put their stuff in, I do hope that a lot of people left at last minute and there is a crash tomorrow night, because that was a good indicator last time about the amount of people who were submitting.
It's not even tomorrow night. It's at 12 p.m. Also, Mr. Arvids, I have no idea why that one echoed. That was a weird one. But you know, it's at 12 p.m. So I know, I can't remember who said it on BHN, but they were talking about the fact that that kind of makes sense, because last time when it broke, it was obviously at midnight. There was no one around to fix it. So I think that's partially why they've gone for... Oh, sorry, 1 p.m, not 12 p.m. 1 p.m. on Monday. So... Yeah, it's not Sunday today, is it? What day is it? But yeah, so Monday, 1 p.m. is when it actually closes. And that's likely just so that they've got someone to be around in case anything goes fucking horribly wrong. Which, I mean, hey, at least they're... But, I mean, the fact that it's already been breaking down throughout this last week. I don't know if you've heard about that stuff as much.
No, I hadn't.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Oh, fuck. I've seen heaps of posts. I know Te Pāti Māori posted about it. I'll see if I can go to their page and have a look. But yeah, nah, for the last probably week, there's been off and on just a bunch of times people have gone on and the whole site's been crashed. Which, like, I love that, because it shows that people are... Well, I love and hate it, because there's one side is that, yes, awesome, people are submitting. However, I'm concerned because I would have thought by now, A, they'd know that they should kind of improve the web service and stuff they have running from the submissions website so that it can actually tolerate the amount of people who are submitting. But I know for a fact that we haven't got anywhere near the numbers of submissions that we had on the principal bill, treaty principal bill, which makes me go, okay, so we're getting less submissions, which, like, and when I say less, there's still a lot, but the website's breaking, and that makes me go, okay, so now the website's worse, because this didn't happen last time.
Yeah, that would make sense. They probably cut funding for the website or some shit.
Well, that's what makes me wonder is because you like, you know, you work in fucking IT. You like it seems like a no-brainer that if it's already breaking down from a lower number of submissions, then how have they purposely made it worse? Because it could handle them before. It just couldn't handle like however many thousands of people were trying to do it before midnight.
Yeah, I'm also bad at my job though, because sadly I specialize in audio and video, so.
Wow, you can't fucking tell from this stream, can ya? You fucking what? Oh my god, dude.
Oops.
And I love how you're trying to tell me, I gotta fix it. This is fucking fucking hell, man. Oh.
No, I'm not. You know, I'm off today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't
What am I
find
gonna
it,
do?
but I know, I see Mr. Arvid said in the comments, or I think it was, yeah, Mr. Arvid said it broke at least 4 times, which...
So how do they know there's less?
Oh, because I saw a total number that had been posted at one point. I think it's on Twitter. Let me go have a quick nose.
They can do that?
Yeah, well, they keep track of the numbers, like when we had the treaty principal bill stuff as well. Let me see if I can quickly find.
Are they all available publicly from the moment they're submitted? Is that?
I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure on the exact.
Yeah, because I assumed it was once submissions closed, everything went public, but maybe it's like they're public from day one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute myself so people don't hear my horrible keyboard. So keep talking. You go quiet the minute I fucking say that.
Oh, sorry. I might have. I just heard you were gonna mute yourself.
Yeah, and I said keep talking.
Oh, I missed that bit. I'm
Fucking
sorry.
hell, nah, you're right.
Maybe you muted yourself too early.
Honestly, maybe.
Mm.
I'll give you that one.
I don't have much to say, unfortunately.
That's terrible. How dare you?
Yeah, I know. Let's see. What do I have to talk about? I think there was some Destiny's Church shit going on today. I saw that.
Oh God, what are they up to today?
I don't know. They did a big march down Queen Street, down to the square, and yeah, that's all I know. Oh, and there's arguments about flag burning. Someone said it. They've been burning flags, which I'm kind of like, whatever. I don't care. I'm one of those people that I don't give a shit. In fact, that was actually the other day at the homeless youth hikoi that I went to. There was a bit of a... Well, they tried to burn the flag. I mean, they partially burned the flag. It wasn't the most successful attempt, unfortunately. But I think they were also trying to avoid what sounds like they were probably doing at this one, which was they had like full-on, like, the flag just billowing in flames, like...
I mean, I can't say I'm a fan of, like, I like the idea of the symbolism. However, given how bad we have treated the environment, I don't support anything in terms of burning synthetic plastics. I know that's all kind of random.
I was gonna... True. I was going to say more it's the resources that were wasted because the fire department was called out.
I think both. I think both. Like, I think it's bad enough that, like, sometimes when I sit there and I think too heavily about, like, especially, so say for instance, back in the day when I used to use Bic lighters all the time. And when I think about how much fucking plastic...
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing when it's like it's very few and far between. It's not like it's been done on a mass scale, but yeah, absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's just I'm not a fan of wasting resources as it is, but I'm also not a fan of, like, burning plastics and stuff is really bad for the fucking, not only just people around you, but the general climate.
From a moral perspective, though, I'm not really too fussed about actually burning the New Zealand flag. I probably apply that to any flag. Like,
oh yeah.
If someone wants to burn the Pride flag, I'll be like, hey, fuck you, but do it, I guess.
Like, I can't
it's
support.
Not stabbing me in the heart.
I can't support burning plastic. It's just It's just a personal thing. But I also, like someone else pointed out, it's not a good thing to do while the aerial fire trucks aren't working. So
Yes,
maybe
that's
let's
what
not.
came to mind.
Yeah.
Well, because they got out there and the people had already put them out, so it was basically a complete false call out for the fire department. So
no, absolutely. But yeah, I can't say I personally condone the burning of any flags, or whether it's flags, whether it's like, you know, someone going and burning their ex's clothing, like same shit. Just don't, you know, it's bad enough that a lot of
thing?
Well, I mean, yeah, people like to set other. I mean, I understand the emotional kind of satisfaction that one would get from setting those things on fire. However, it's the same reason I'm not a fan of, say, YouTubers, you know, who would do the whole, I'm going to sit here and drive a fucking cement roller over 5 brand new iPhones, like, or anything like that.
Yeah.
I fucking hate when people just... Well, because especially when I think about it, it's like, you know, it is a privilege to have those, like, things, to actually be in a place where you have enough resources to be able to, you know, buy those nice things on top, to then just go and burn it and basically cause more damage to the environment and the air, and also waste a resource. It just doesn't sit.
How do you feel about the old couch burning then?
Fuck no. That's even worse.
That's a tradition back at my home.
Fuck. Okay, you come from Dunedin, so like, y'all, nah, I fucking hate that shit, because like, I just think about all the toxic smoke that just gets put into the environment and the air, and it's just like, oh, fucking hell, it's bad enough that, like, we've already put enough shit in the air. Do we need to? Or do we just want to? Because that's where I feel like the separation is. It's a want, not a need.
I mean, no one needs to.
No one needs to set a fucking couch on fire. I mean, if you're setting Parliament on fire when the coalition's there, that's a bit different. But like, obviously. But
plus, you know, the drunk students might have a different opinion. Maybe they would say they need to.
The only thing I want people setting fire to is, like, you know, lighting up a cone or fucking, and not a road cone, because those are plastic. Don't do that either.
I'm not even sure that would be achievable.
I mean, don't say that. Someone will try.
I'm not challenging someone.
Like how
but you will fail.
Miss Scruffador said, "Got to keep warm and Dunners somehow." So I mean,
exactly.
You know, if they're homeless people setting a couch on fire because it's their only means of being warm,
well,
then sure.
No, no, because don't say that either, because the homeless encampment in the Oval was set on fire a few months back.
Oh yeah, no, actually we covered that. I did see that story.
So even then, no, it's too safe, too unsafe. Burn all the tents.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, well, although this is I've got one thing that I kind of wanted to dip into real quickly, but I also realized we got given an extra story. Someone recommended looking into the cuts coming to Culture and Heritage New Zealand.
Okay.
So actually, yeah, we'll do that one first. Fuck it. We'll go Kiwi first, because the other one is, it's relevant in that I think it's unfortunately kind of a potential future foreboding from America, because the Atlas Playbook is obviously everywhere, and we love it. I say very facetiously. But yeah, so someone sent me a message on Discord, just telling me to go have a look at the cuts that are being proposed, and I didn't actually realize, but turns out they actually had a wee little protest here in Wellington on Tuesday morning, which would have been Tuesday this week. So as of this week, I'll just give it a bit of a screen share, and then so yeah, protesters claim cuts will decimate heritage staff, which I was like, okay, what the hell's going on over here? So it turns out, after the budget, they obviously had budget cuts at the Ministry for Culture and Heritage, and the unions were protesting, say it would be a 16% loss in staff numbers. So workers rallied outside the ministry offices on Lambton Quay on Tuesday, saying that, they were worried about the cuts to those jobs, and they said it would decimate the team maintaining Te Ara Encyclopedia of New Zealand and producing resources about the Dawn Raids, the 28th Māori Battalion, and New Zealand's participation in the Vietnam War and more. Which, for me, when I read the Te Ara thing, that did not sit good with me.
Yeah, look, someone who's just been using. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have clicked on that. Sorry, I just gotta start getting audio from the stream. As someone who's been like using the NZ on screen and a lot of like different archive resources that are probably, I would assume, managed from these guys. It's absolutely necessary, and definitely something I appreciate.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, because it said the government had cut its baseline funding by $2 million a year, resulting in proposed restructuring, which had gone to staff. And I also was reading I think it was, actually, we'll cut this and, fuck it, we'll just change it manually. I was like, should I change it manually? Yeah, fucking probably should. Because the PSA put out a press release. They said the agency is proposing a net loss of 24 roles. This will follow budget cuts, which slash funding by $8 million over the next 4 years. So that was actually a decrease in $2 million each year over 4 years.
Pennies to the government. What the fuck?
Exactly. Like, why? Like, when we're seeing billions of dollars put in other fucking things, that, like you say, that is genuinely a fucking drop in the bucket. Like, that's a decent lotto win. So the proposed job losses follow the last year cut, which saw the workforce fall from 182 to 155. So that would mean then that they would go down to 120, 25? My brains. No, 121. There we go. No, 131. Fucking doing math on a Saturday night. Why did I do that? Basically putting them even closer to only 100 staff. Which, when you put it into that perspective too, that's actually not a lot of people who are managing quite a lot. Like, to be managing Te Ara, producing resources around the battalion and the wars, I mean, God. They said, if carried out, it will decimate the agency's workforce of historians, with 6 of 10 historians proposed to be shown the door. So they want to get rid of 60% of our national historians. And I mean,
I'm a fucking history guy, and this is absolutely devastating. Fucking hell.
Exactly, and that's kind of, for me, especially as someone who, like I said before, I used to be a lot more right-wing. I didn't, like many of us, I didn't learn a lot about our history, and Te Ara is one of the best sources. In fact, it's such a good source that a lot of the times when I was given assignments, they'd be like, you can only reference 1 to 2 things from Te Ara, and then you have to fucking use something else. Because it has got, especially when it comes to Māori history, Te Ara is like the one-stop shop to go and learn about the history, to learn about the culture. And I mean, It's kind of interesting when we think about how, like, a lot of people are like, oh, Treaty Principles Bill is trying to fucking erase Māori or do this to Māori. This is another one. This is definitely a huge part of it, because we need those historians and people working so that we can actually... And I mean, it makes sense. A government that doesn't want to enable Māori to co-govern with them, they're doing everything they can to sabotage that at the moment.
Yeah, this is literally erasing our history. I mean, and this will, like, I'm sure this kind of stuff helps with, like, treaty settlements and stuff like that. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if they helped find that waka that was found on Chatham Islands.
Oh, yes, yep.
Like last year, I think. Like,
yeah, it was the end of last year, I think. I do remember covering that story.
Yeah, it's not like these resources don't go towards actual significant findings or anything like that. Like,
yeah, like here it says, for 20 years, Te Ara has been the first port of call for information about New Zealand history. Millions of people visit Te Ara every year, including teachers, students, researchers, and New Zealanders with an interest in our history. It's also proposing disestablishing the team that supports the website. The one way that we can actually access these historical archives is on the internet. Like, I mean,
you gotta go to, like, the National Library or something.
I mean, I can, because it's down the road from me. But I also go through the fucking... I can't press Control F at the library, okay?
That's true.
Like, I mean, I guess I kind of can. I can go type it into a computer. It's just so much more. Like, it's a lot... It's accessible when it's available online. It also, you know, is concerning that they want to disestablish this team, and also at the same time they want to repeal the fucking Plain Languages Act, which kind of enables those people who are writing content for websites to, you know, to do these things. And it's just... Also, apparently other casualties include those responsible for the education program that supports Pukeahu National War Memorial Park, a resource that schools depend on. A project to enhance understanding of the dawn raids following the official apology is also at risk.
I haven't had any experience with this. I don't think they were using it when I was in school, so...
Sorry, for which one?
Oh, well, I didn't learn anything about the dorm raids when I was in school.
No, yes. Well, I think that's why that they're trying to enhance the understanding, because, like, you know, yeah, like you said, like, I only learnt about the fucking dawn raids when I think that TV show on TVNZ came out, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's why we need to teach people about it. So these resources are important. You got to educate people about it. Exactly. Otherwise, they'll just grow up being angry, self-hating white guys who vote for ACT. So.
Yeah, it's proposing to disestablish the roles that enabled it to produce websites honouring the 28th Māori Battalion and recording the history of New Zealand's participation in the Vietnam War. It says all these projects are vital for people to share their own experiences.
Which is another thing that's actually very, you know, it's not very... people aren't very informed about it. It's not taught in schools, or at least wasn't when I was there. We learned about Gallipoli. Learn a shit ton about Gallipoli. It's like every year.
All you ever learn about.
All you learn about is Gallipoli and Treaty of Waitangi. And that's pretty much it. Those are the two things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even known when I was in high school that we went in the Vietnam War.
There is one other thing you did generally learn in school, but it was actually funnily enough, it was misinformation. So actually, you know what? I'm going to go on a fun little side tangent.
Okay.
Here's a fun fact about education in New Zealand. So a lot of us would probably have remembered the narrative when it came to Māori coming to New Zealand. First of all, Māori did not come to New Zealand. Pacific Islanders came to New Zealand. They became Māori over the hundreds of years that they then, you know, evolved and adapted and became distinct from the culture that originally came from East Tahiti, like Tahitian area. And so in school, a lot of us were taught about the Great Migration theory, which is essentially that, was it like 7 or however many waka all came at once. And that was like always like the big thing that was taught in school, because basically TLDR, I think it was like the early 1900s, some random white dude came up with this theory that they all came over at one time and could never get back, blah blah blah. And so that became a theory, and then it got published into a school book, New Zealand school curriculum book, I think around the 50s or 60s. And then even though that theory was actually disproven not that long after it, it obviously remained in those books that then were circulating into New Zealand curriculum, at least until after I left like primary school, at least. If not, I wouldn't be surprised if there's still some that do, because...
Yeah, I was looking into this, I think only a few weeks back, because I was trying to figure out where they landed first, or where the apparent first landing was. What I found out was that, sort of archaeologically, the oldest waka that they had found was, I believe, in the South Island.
Yes, it was on top of the South Island.
Yeah, but despite that, they still go with the oral history as the primary accounting and accept that it was the North Island somewhere that was settled first, I believe.
Well,
according to oral history, I believe.
Yeah, so essentially, I can't remember the name of the place off the top of my head. But yeah, essentially there was archaeological findings at the top of the South Island that had remains that were they were able to be identified as Tahitian Polynesian due to the type of diet that basically affects the way your body kind of, you know, we've all got different compositions based on the different shit that we eat and blah blah blah. But yeah, so they were found to be also buried near Maori remains, which shows that they were kind of the settlement that started that kind of separation of going from being Polynesians to being Maori. So, and yeah, I mean, obviously the North Island was, although interestingly enough, they also found that it did not take Maori very long at all to actually locate all usable, like, different natural resources across the country. It only took them, like, I think probably a few years, which, you know, when you're having to walk everywhere, is actually quite not that long. And yeah, so, like, you know, they had found that they had started trading, say, obsidian from the North Island, sending that down, and Pounamu being sent up, and they also had to adapt.
Yeah, that was Naitahu's thing, trading that Pounamu.
And they also had to adapt in terms of geologically, because turns out once you go over to the side of Polynesia that they were, you cross the andesite line, and the andesite line essentially denotes older and newer formations of geology. And so on the side that they were on, they had less resources. So essentially once you pass that line, there isn't as many complex natural resources available. So when they actually came back over that line and actually landed in Aotearoa, they had to adapt. That meant that they kind of created slightly different tools. It also affected even just like from an art perspective. A lot of art is obviously influenced by what they see around them. So that's why we see quite a distinct definition between, say, Polynesian, like tattoo versus Maori, moko, and those types of things. Like,
or even like the flora and fauna that you can get for like pigments and stuff like that, like would completely determine that, I assume.
Oh yeah, so. I mean, there's like, it's also just in terms of, there's like artistic styles. There's obviously what you've got available to use. Like we saw that there was lapita pottery, which comes from around Indonesia, and we see that that kind of gets taken quite far into the Polynesia but disappears after a certain point, likely due to the fact that they can't access the same types of clays and things to create that pottery, and they've got different resources that they then focus their time on. But you also see that they've always been a very aesthetic people too, because there's always been an element of design and creating something beautiful onto even your most basic of tools, like a tuki, which is like a little axe.
That's pretty much like that's probably the biggest link I think between like all the Polynesian cultures. They're very visually, love their visual patterns, very artistic. Maybe it's because they didn't have much to do all day. I don't know.
Well, actually, I think it's also because like a lot of it is that they wanted to. I think there's a lot of that goes to around like what you put into something as you're putting energy into something. So the more lovingly and the more intricate you craft, you're kind of really putting like a lot of effort and time, especially given like thinking about how they had to obviously. It wasn't like we have now. We just go to the supermarket, get all the food we need. They were having to prioritize, and that's why you also had people who, they stuck to what they were good at, rather than the society we live in now that tells you just got to go get a job, and I don't care which one. That was more like, okay, well, you're really fucking good at this, so we need you to just sit. Like they would easily be able to whack out, like probably 20 axes a day just by hand, and like. It's insane the amount of just impressive workings, especially because like from my iwi, we were known as master carvers. So like we often made carvings for other iwi and hapu across the motu and all that, and it's about a lot of that kind of, I guess you'd call it kind of like ritualistic, about trying to kind of put in this intention, and I guess spiritual as well, because there was a lot of they also have this interesting thing where I have found a book that shows you the different phases, and essentially tool making went from being quite a ritualistic, like you would go and you would karakia to the tree, and do these certain karakia as you're actually taking the wood, and then you're also doing it when you're like there's different intentions at every stage. And they noted in this book that I was reading, essentially what happens is that like due to obviously things changing, resources changing, that those rituals essentially just kind of got lost, especially because we had things like the Tohunga Suppression Act and a lot of that kind of colonization. You see it completely takes it from being a very personal and intentional craft to just being like, we just need these things and we'll just make them and biff them out.
Yeah.
Which is good, but it would have been nice if they could have actually got to keep some of that, because oh man.
Yeah.
Sorry for the major side tangent there, Whānau.
No.
I love Māori history, so like I'm glad to hear you guys are enjoying
from Kaimatata.
Yes. Yeah, well, because Kumara come from
should get
South
them on the
America.
show, definitely.
No, absolutely, because I do love the fact that like Māori we had an economy before the white people got here.
Everyone had an economy.
Yeah,
though. Like that's like show me a culture that didn't have an economy. I mean, every culture had art too, and well, most cultures at least. I'm struggling to think of one that I can't really think of any. Like,
yeah, no,
maybe the Mongols were kind of bland a little bit, but that's probably more just because they were very nomadic.
Well, I was going to say, when you're not putting down roots as much, you're spending more resources and time actually working on, traveling and other things. Whereas, obviously, and I mean, it's really interesting, and like all of those things, like a lot of that information that I just said, you can find pretty much all of that, I believe, is on Te Ara. Like, and
a lot of it goes into purpose too, like because if you think of art with like I guess with like a lot of Western cultures and stuff, I don't know, a lot of it was family heraldry, stuff like that. That was sort of the purpose for art, was showing status.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that was another thing. So
Yeah.
it just depends on the culture, I suppose, for the purpose of what you're making.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's where we do get a lot of cultural variations and stuff like that. But that's also why I do like to, kind of point out, if anyone did learn that great migration theory in school, is because it was not like that. Actually, it took I believe across approximately 25 years-ish, they kind of approximate that essentially someone came over here first, who a lot of Māori attribute that to Kupe, and then he went back to East Polynesia, said, yo, I found a pretty decent island.
Thanks, Ramdingle 007. We're aware of my mic issues. I can't fix it without getting distracted.
Oh yeah,
right now,
sorry
so.
about that, Elhua. We'll work on that.
I don't think it's my fault either. I'm blaming Mage.
Honestly, it
Mage is
probably
blaming
is my
me.
fault. I don't know. You do the stream then. But yeah, I mean, essentially, they had different waka came at different times. Obviously, a lot of them came to the North Island, and not as many. I mean, if we think about it, also, top of the North Island is considered subtropical, bottom of the South Island is considered subantarctic. So it makes sense that more people settled on the North Island due to the fact that it was a lot easier to literally survive, because one of the other impressive things is we have to think about the fact that people came from Polynesia, where it is hot and sunny and humid and warm, and then they came to Aotearoa and they actually managed to not die.
Yeah, and stay warm with no mammal skins to grab either. That's another thing to remember.
Although, yes, they didn't have mammals, however, they did have seals, because that is actually the main food source in the South Island. In terms of,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so because obviously South Island's more subantarctic. A lot of I guess kaitahu and
seal is a mammal, just a sea mammal, I guess.
Yeah, because actually turns out, fun fact about seals, they actually have, I think, one of the highest protein kind of rates. Basically, you get more per gram of energy from seal than you do from, say, beef or anything like that. It's actually quite a very, very good
let's not tell the gym bros that. Keep that one quiet.
Okay. Well, to be fair, our lecturer was telling us this as we were literally looking at a colony of cute little seals. He's like, yeah, they're actually really good to eat. And you had all the girls on the bus just go, oh no. But and then the other fun fact about how they survived and subsisted is because obviously there isn't a lot of carbohydrates that can be grown here, well, especially in the South Island, because basically you start to head around Wellington and it gets a little fucky-wucky on certain things being able to actually be farmed and produced. And so they actually found that we know them as cabbage trees. They found that if they cooked so if you tried to eat a cabbage tree, the thing off of it, you would die because it's poisonous. However, if you cook it for like 2 days or something crazy like that, it actually breaks down all of those poisons and actually turns into something that you can eat.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how they would get some of their carbohydrates. There was also another it's more of a weed, but it grows in swamp areas. That was another one that Māori started to use as a source of carbohydrate because A, it was a source of carbohydrate, and B, it would often grow and take over farmable land. And so the easiest way to get rid of it was just kind of cut it up and eat it. However, it tasted like shit, and it was really bad on your teeth. So a lot of Māori had ground down teeth because of the toughness of the.
They didn't have dental floss. Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, mate, they didn't have dentists. But yeah, it's really, really interesting to there's so much in terms of technology. There was also this really cool fact that we learned they found these rows of stones on the side of a hill, just further over Palliser Bay side of the Wellington region. And turns out those rocks that they're like kind of just covered by a layer of dirt and grass. They theorized and believe that they're actually a form of gardening aid. So because rocks obviously hold heat, like we know with a hangi, those rocks that have that bit of earth over them, they collect the heat from the sun during the day, and then they can keep that going. So then that way they were able to actually harvest produce for longer periods of time rather than having to go in a shorter seasonal window.
Oh,
which is pretty fucking cool if you ask me.
We have been good farmers for a long time.
Oh yeah, farming and fishing, because that's partially why when like the Dutch and the English started coming to New Zealand, originally that's why we were helping them, because there were these boats full of white people who were wasting away. And
these guys know how to fish.
Well, that's the thing, is they were like, how the fuck are you on a boat and you're starving? You were literally going over food. There's food underneath you. And that was one of the things that was very shocking to Māori, was like, how?
The Māori were like, who the fuck are these savages?
Yeah, you
can't
guys
even fucking feed themselves.
Exactly. Like you're literally good driving over a whole fucking bowl of fish soup there, buddy. Like, and that was it. They were just surprised that these people hadn't, obviously, like, all they knew was those types of things. So, I mean, it would surprise you if you came up and met someone that didn't know how to fish, when to you, knowing that kind of thing is like knowing how to breathe.
I imagine it's like there's this race in Star Trek that's like so dumb they don't know how to operate their own ships. I imagine it was probably like that to them. They're just like, what? Who the fuck are these people?
Oh yeah.
You have giant boats with sails. You can just sail across the ocean with like hundreds of people, but you don't know how to fish.
Okay, but yeah, but also like, one of the even almost, I guess, worst parts is that when I think it was Cook. Oh, I'm not sure. It could be a Cook, or it could be the other
Tasman?
Yeah, maybe that
Tasman?
one. Might have been, yeah, I can't remember if it was Tasman or Cook. But one of them had a young boy with them whom they took on their boat from
The navigator?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Captain Cook.
Okay, it was Cook. Yeah. And so which to me, I thought that was crazy when my lecturer was like, yeah, so there was like this young teenage boy and they just like took him on their boat. And I'm like, wait, what? You're letting these white men just take this? And they say that he really wanted to go. But I'm like, what parent would be like, yeah, this boat full of random fucking white people that we don't know how to talk to or understand, they can just our kid can just go for a fucking ride with them? Yes, Tupaya. There we go. That's the name. But yeah, like, and which to me was crazy. I was like, okay, so we're just okay with the fact that these white people likely just kidnapped this young boy and God knows what else they did to him. But then they used him as a translator, obviously, because, well, East Tahitian was the parent language to Māori. So there was the ability to communicate.
Oh, okay. So they could like understand each other somewhat.
Yeah. So because obviously the fact that the root language, it's actually quite interesting when you look at a lot of the languages that come into the Austronesian language family group.
I haven't heard Austronesian before. That's interesting. Austronesian.
Yeah, it's just the word they use to just because basically, you know, when you've got all your different languages, they all go off onto their own different like trees, like, you know how you got like
roots and subroots.
Yeah, exactly. See if I can find a little list of them, because I know it covers. Okay, yeah, so it does cover pretty much. yeah, no, we'll open this up and I'll see if I can make it big, because it's actually also, funnily enough, pretty much the same image that shows you the area of the entire migration of the Polynesian people from the very beginning. So, since we're doing a history lesson now, you got here, so we start in Taiwan. That's the beginning of the migration. It goes down into Southeast Asia. There's one lot that branch off to Madagascar, funnily enough. So Madagascar has languages that are related to here. And then they went out into like Micronesia and Melanesia. And then there's a notable point between Fiji and Tonga, which is Fiji's in this purple bit over here near the edge, and Tonga is over here. Between Fiji and Tonga is 55 nautical miles, which is the furthest gap that they had to kind of navigate. So that is actually at the point where they developed the double-hulled waka, because that was the single-hulled waka was obviously not able to go that far. So it also is where we see the split off between Melanesian culture and Polynesian culture, because you know how I mentioned that Andesite line? That's where they also cross over the Andesite line. So essentially where my mouse is going is kind of like around where the Andesite line is, so it cuts them off. So in Fiji they had a lot more diverse resources. However, when they crossed over into Tonga, that's where they had less diverse resources. And that is actually, I believe, when they invented the three-sided axe, which was kind of like a staple of tools in that area because of the types of rocks they had.
I'm struggling to think of what a three-sided axe looks like.
I mean, yeah, you can probably Google one. But yeah, so that's kind of what happened. Oh, actually, I don't know if that's gonna Polynesia, but yeah, so that is where that kind of happened. Oh god, I can't find any pictures. Do not bother googling it, it's not going to help you. I'll find one later.
Oh well, yeah, I couldn't find one either.
But I think it's more essentially like, imagine a like kind of thing, and it kind of goes down into three. It's yeah. But and then obviously they go out into the Pacific, which is when we start kind of going closer to obviously South America, because the furthest they go is Rapa Nui, which is East Island.
Yeah.
And then yeah, obviously East Polynesia, which is kind of Tahiti area, that is where they believe that the Polynesians who came to Aotearoa were from, because just based off of languages, and there's a lot, because a lot of how they trace the migration of Polynesians is through like archaeology, linguistics, and like carbon dating, although carbon dating can be a lot harder to.
In fact, if I recall correctly, I think there was even debate whether or not at one point the Polynesians did go to Rapa Nui, or at least went straight to Rapa Nui, because I believe when the English, or who the hell found it first, got there, they just couldn't believe that they would have made it there.
Yes.
So they thought they had to go to, I think, South America first, and then come off at South America. I think that was the initial thoughts.
I'm wondering if that was also partially tied to, there was a theory back, I think probably in the 1800s, which is essentially that Maori drifted off of, like, it's kind of like they try to imply that it was like they just kind of got lost when leaving South America, as if they just landed in these places by accident, when they did not. There was no accident. Like actually, I should try find it. There's an amazing documentary that we were made to watch, and it's one of the so basically it follows this guy who's being taught basically about sailing and navigation of the ocean, and like it's down to the point where they're like able to see, okay, well, if the water's moving this way, or if the water moves in this direction, you know, aligns with these things. Like, it is some insanely technically skilled navigation, and this is just like, you know, they show you him going through that process, and it's just amazing to me. I'm like, fuck. Sometimes I barely notice if like I've forgotten to put my shoes on before I leave the house, and this guy's out here fucking just, oh yep, the water's moving in this direction. And they also found too, it's not only just that, but Polynesians had learned to navigate sailing using triangles. So they found if they'd actually kind of move this way, they could kind of avoid, it was making like paths a lot easier for them to follow, which is another just insanely, I guess it makes sense. You can kind of see why the white guy tried to make these people seem stupid, because
they couldn't do this.
Like, and again, that's why, like, you know, even trace back to say things like Ancient Aliens, where we try to discredit the Mayans
and fallacy. The whole point about Ancient Aliens is these ancient cultures, they couldn't have done this.
Yeah, nah, they had to get
idiots,
told stuff by this technologically advanced alien
must
race.
have been aliens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I can see a lot of awesome corridor going on in the chat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, y'all are coming in. I love that we were just sitting here
having 007 doing his thing.
Right.
I love that name.
But yeah, so do I actually. That's very good. Apparently Captain Cook actually cooked a Māori on his ship, called him steak, and tried feeding him to Māori to improve it. Oh, you know what? I can fucking believe that.
I've heard that one too.
Yeah, I could. Oh god, why are white people so fucking psychopathic? Or at least the old ones. Yeah. Raiatea. That was actually that was another documentary I saw that went into the different islands, because like like a lot of the islands in that area, a lot of them are essentially where the different waka came from, because I'm pretty sure it's Raiatea that there seems to be a lot of overlap in terms of oral history between Raiatea and Te Arawa, actually, if I'm remembering correctly, just based off of oral histories of oh my god, I've just forgotten his name, and I'm not gonna, I can tell I'm just not gonna remember it. He was a tohunga anyway. Great tohunga and Te Arawa oral histories anyway. But yeah, I mean, I guess we should probably, it's getting late, so we should probably have a look at I mean, we've really gone over the heritage stuff. I mean, I definitely think that's something that I really wish more people were. I'm so grateful to the person who messaged me. I believe their name was Matt. So thank you for kind of bringing that to my attention. There is one video that I wouldn't mind us having a quick nosy at, just because it's definitely not something that's affecting us right now, but I think just watching how we've been trying to copy America, and the fact we kind of know since the Atlas playbook is kind of the Atlas playbook, where we're just in an earlier chapter right now. And I know we've had a bit of corridor over the week, say with BHN, about different things. We've had the 3 strike rule come back, which is fucking horrendous in my opinion. But I thought we would just watch this little video and just have a quick corridor about how this is potentially our future. Oh, do I not have sound on it? Why is my sound?
If you're wondering why they're going...
Oh god, why did that double up? Oh no, what have I done, guys?
It's fine for me.
Alright, it might double up for the fam, so hopefully it's not too bad. Apologies if it does, however.
After day laborers and farm workers, it's because of this. Last week my friend Jose told me he has to work 5 days just to make one phone call with his family. I was like, what? Jose's this classic working class dad, big muscles, big smile. He loves playing soccer with his kids. Unfortunately, he's also an immigrant farm worker, and one day while coming home from the fields, I swung by and picked him up. I met Jose in an immigration detention center where I volunteered to give folks legal advice. The facility Jose is in charges him $5 to make a phone call. How does he pay for them? Well, he works. For a full day of work in this immigration detention center, they pay him $1. So he has to work a full week to make one phone call with his kids. So if you're wondering why they're going after day laborers and farm workers, this is the big reason why. American businesses don't want to pay these hardworking immigrants the minimum wage. They want to pay them $1 a day. And by the way, these immigration detention centers aren't run by the federal government. They're run by private for-profit prison companies who exploit the people inside to make billions in profit and then donate it back to Trump and the Republican Party. This has never been about deporting criminals. This is about slavery.
And
Yay.
I don't like to kind of be too, how would you say, doomsday about it all, but it's definitely not something that I feel like should be wildly ignored, because I mean, as we were, I think you were the one that was telling me the fact that we ironically aren't getting a hospital built, but we're getting prisons built.
Yep.
That was
not
you,
building
yeah.
houses anymore either, but we're building prisons.
Fuck, I didn't even think about that added on top of it. Like, because do you know where they're building those prisons?
I don't have any of those specifics on me.
Oh, no, that's cool. I just wasn't sure if you knew or not. But I think that's what kind of concerns me, is that we see an increase in this kind of tough on crime, rhetoric.
Yep.
And then we're also coupling that with the prisons being built. We know that there's like a prison industrial complex in America, and I'm assuming that probably came from Atlas, because let's be honest, most of it fucking does at this point, since they're just unfortunately fucking 20 steps ahead of everyone, which is not great, but at least we're aware there's a fucking competition now.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not necessarily Atlas, but Atlas adjacent. A lot of that stuff, like that more probably come from Chicago School of Economics, that kind of thing, which, if we remember back to my demonstration, was a big sort of associated part with almost like a pipeline sort of that led to Atlas and a lot of Atlas stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. Atlas does a bit. I find Atlas a bit more focused on lobbying for oil and gas and that kind of stuff. Mainly, I haven't really seen any association with the prison industrial complex or military industrial complex. Those things kind of just prop themselves up, honestly. They're sort of self-sustaining machines in a way, and a lot of that I think just goes more into they lobby their local politicians, stuff like that, who again just start putting funding back into private prisons and giving them grants and stuff like that, and that all goes into the war on drugs, yada yada, which that goes into neoliberalism, is the whole war on drugs type of.
Well, that's kind of I think where for me I'm like, that feels like they've got to be doing it in at least some of those areas, because I mean, when you focus on things like oil and gas and that kind of, I guess for me it's just that kind of capitalist thing, like all of those things kind of have to play together in order to work.
I've found that Atlas's tendrils are more focused, like the tendrils are rooted in the States, but they're not really focused too much these days. I find on influencing the States. They're more focused on influencing other foreign entities, UK, Canada, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. They've already locked down America. They don't need to. Yeah. They don't need to keep trying. Yeah. Now they're just trying to break us down. Well, and that's the thing, is it feels like they definitely used America as this major testing ground / kind of, I guess, template. And I think that's where, for me, I'm like, okay, well, if you've used that as the main template, I mean, even in some of the people that we see associated with them, it's very much the type of people who try to villainize a certain type of people, who try to twist words a certain way, like depoliticizing things seems to be one of their big fucking things at the moment, of like, that's just, yeah, exactly, which is just taking people out of it, which is, you know, it is what they want. They do want to take people out of it. Actually, I think it also slightly couples really well with this other small video that I wanted us to have a quick nosy at. This comes from a wider conversation.
Oh, by the way, the prisons they're building looks like they're PPPs.
Of course they fucking are.
Yeah.
That's where I wish we would actually follow Australia for once and implement a law that stops fucking PPPs from being allowed in certain areas, because, see, this is what I mean. It's all coming together and I don't like it. I just hate how all the pieces keep slotting in so perfectly. Because then there's also this conversation which I found really interesting. I know, right? I found this really interesting, but however, they are centering this conversation specifically around AI companies, but I personally feel like this actually speaks to a lot more than just AI companies, and but we'll have a listen to them first, and I think I'll do this right this time. Oh no, I gotta actually turn the sound on. That almost had
Understand these companies as empires.
When you think about the very long history of European colonialism and the way that empires of old operated, they laid claim to resources that were not their own, and they designed rules that made it seem like they were their resources. They would exploit a lot of labor around the world to continue building up and fortifying the empire. They competed with one another. There was this aggressive race of, we, the French Empire, are better than the British Empire. We, the British Empire, are better than the Dutch Empire. We need to continue to relentlessly race and be number one because we're the ones that have the right civilizing mission to bring modernity and progress to all of humanity. That is literally what is happening now with AI companies. They extract a lot of resources, they claim to a lot of resources that are not their own. They're trying to make it sound like copyright laws allow them to have fair use of artists and writers and creators' work to train their models on. They are exploiting a lot of labor, both in terms of the labor that they're contracting to do all of the labeling and cleaning of the data, also in the fact that they are ultimately building labor replacing technologies. So they're building systems that will ultimately make it much harder for workers to bargain for better rights. And they're doing this in a race where they position themselves as morally superior to the other bad actors. They have this civilizing mission. If you...
Yes, there's that civilizing mission. That's exactly what you were kind of pointing out earlier. Just like this almost, come on, let us help you. Let us civilize you poor people.
That's been the MO for colonization for pretty much, I don't know, the last 500 years at least.
Join us and allow us to do this. If you give us all of the resources, all of the capital, close your eyes to the enormous environmental, social, and labor impacts all around the world, we will eventually bring modernity and progress to all of humanity. All of the features of empire building are there.
What do you mean when you say we want to understand these companies as empires?
When you think, let me pause it. But yeah, so I mean, that's just a clip that I found.
There's a lot to chew on there. Putting aside, I suppose, the philosophical argument of art, what is art, and is it stealing if you blah 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 blah. I think the bigger point is it's big corporations, it's rich people who are using this to their benefit, to their advantage. I think a lot of this, and I love the analogy she draws to colonialism and the way it exploited just people around the world, their resources, and even as colonialism, like because ever since colonialism started, they've just been finding new ways to rebrand it to make it more appealing. Even after colonialism had started souring in some time in the mid-1800s, where the scramble for Africa happened, and they didn't know what to do with the Congo, so they gave it to not the Belgian state, or they gave it to the king.
Anyone who has an NFT tries not to let anyone know they've got an NFT because it's fucking embarrassing.
It's like, look, I got scammed. You've just got a receipt for being scammed. That's it. Yeah.
There was also actually, because obviously I started listening to the whole interview. I did not get as far through it as I would have liked. But there was actually a really interesting comment that I think kind of almost perfectly sums up kind of how I was getting this vibe of, like, it feels like this applies to much more than just the AI companies. And the comment here, it says, the Roman Empire became a church, the British Empire became a bank, the American Empire became an AI startup. Which, while I think obviously that's probably a bit reductive in terms of, specifics, I think it kind of gives a good broad, like, overview of, I think, where I was getting that those bits of, like, this feels like this happens in a lot of companies, in these big corporations. Someone also points out that, you've also got the military industrial complex of America, which is definitely very much their baby.
Yeah, which is, and once direct conflict became disfavorable, around the time of the Vietnam War, people were hating that. They started just doing a whole bunch of proxy wars, or selling their weapons to, insurgencies and stuff like that. Iran-Contra affair, for example, shit like that. So, that stuff very much drives, just a lot of the bullshit that goes on is just driven by private entities.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
things in too many pots.
That's why I thought that little clip, plus obviously that lawyer talking about things, I just feel like, those are definitely things that we should probably be keeping an eye on.
East India Company, that basically, governed India for fuck knows how long.
True. I kind of forget, see, again, that's where I, like, it's like the same way I kind of forget that we had the New Zealand Company. Like, I do actually kind of, like, I guess that's a really good point, is that, also, why were they called companies? Is that supposed to be like a business or more like a war company?
What, the East India Company?
Or just the general? It's more. I guess I'm more asking about the terminology. It seems like
no. It was more like a business company. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Not like a military company. No.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we had the New Zealand Company, which was obviously.
From what I know about the East India Company, it was not as simple. It was because they didn't just have like corporations at the time. It was like sort of semi and autonomous arm of the state that had like a head, I guess, who I think was appointed by the crown. I think that's sort of how it worked.
Right.
So it was sort of its own thinking head that was sort of subservient to the crown itself. I think that's sort of how it operated, but it had pretty much pure autonomy to do whatever the fuck it wanted in India, I believe. So that's why just so much exploitation went on there. Yeah.
Huh. That's really interesting. I don't know. See, that's the thing, is I don't know as much about, obviously, like, I know a little bit about the whole British, like, Britain and India thing, but, like, I don't know fucking much about the details, because, again, a lot to learn about these histories of...
There's a lot of history.
Well, and that's the thing is, yeah, we get taught, like you said, the amount of fucking years where, like, if I have to make one more goddamn poppy, I swear to God, if I have to do one more fucking art art day where you're just sitting there doing fucking poppies. Oh, don't get me wrong, it's important and I get that, but fuck. And then I guess just to finish this off, since it's late, there was one little.
If you want to feel somewhat good, the original Europeans were colonized too. There was the Neanderthals.
Yeah.
They're gone.
I mean, the thing
The Africans were the first to strike.
There's always, you know, I do understand, like, when you only got to go so far back. Everyone got colonized at one point.
Everyone's been colonized.
I mean, through that migration of Polynesia, there was some, you know, colonizing of violence. There was also, you know, that's how we got some of the break-offs in terms of different cultures, because then they started fucking...
Yeah. And that's why when it goes to the whole, I suppose, Palestinian-Israel conflict, it's like one of those things, like, there's no point in just going back, like, who you did this. We could go back to the frickin' Neanderthals, you know, like, and probably before then. We'd probably go back to the dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah, I mean, people who try to play the let's keep going back, it's like, no, we know kind of how far enough back we need to go. Let's not play those games. But yeah, there's this one little last thing, especially because I thought it was interesting given we talked about the disestablishment of Predator-free 2050. Apparently, cute pets are now included in pest management plans in the Bay of Plenty. So,
cute pets.
Yeah. So the Bay of Plenty turtle owners must now securely house their pets as the region council changes its pest plan to prevent escapees. I also liked this part of the article. While unlikely to form a sewer-dwelling gang of martial arts fighters, escaped or released pets can harm ecosystems and native plant species. Because I also didn't realize, apparently there's a bit of a wallaby problem. We have wallabies here now.
Yeah, I think we've had them for some time, I believe.
Still wild to me.
Yeah, I've never seen one. I know people have seen them, but I've never seen one.
Yeah, so turtles are now included in the plan, covering all introduced freshwater types. Because I was reading... so they start off cute, around the size of a 50-cent piece, but they live for 50 years and grow to the size of a dinner plate, needing more maintenance and a bigger tank or pond, leading owners to abandon them. Because, oh, look at the cute tiny little turtle. Oh, that's right. It grows up just like puppies do. But they also feed on small fish, plants, and coda, and small birds such as ducklings. They degrade water quality by disrupting the ecosystem and displace wetland birds by taking over nesting sites.
I didn't know turtles fed on ducklings. That's new information to me.
That is exactly what I was thinking. I was like, wait, what? I didn't realize turtles will just eat a whole baby duck. That's kind of
nasty fucks.
Right? I've mostly just seen cute videos of them chomping on lettuce. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're usually just an attack. Also, how do you get an escapee turtle? When's that happening?
Well, apparently they're inherently difficult to catch.
What?
I guess once they're in the water, not on the ground.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Well, because they're being,
that's what I'm thinking about, the turtle on land. No. So I'm just like, how's that hard?
No, I believe they said it in here somewhere that apparently in one river somewhere, Rotorua. Oh, there we go. Wait, was it this one? Oh no, this is about the wallaby. That's right, the wallaby. Because apparently they found a wallaby 2023 around Rotorua. So, but yeah, I know I was reading somewhere. Oh, here we go. Sightings reported to the regional council included a female found nesting in Tauranga's Gordon Carmichael Reserve with 16 eggs.
That's a lot of eggs.
That's a lot of potential.
Even turtles. I don't have that many eggs.
But also think about 16 turtles eating all the ducks. Because there's a lot of ducks in Tauranga. And I just thought...
I don't know.
I just thought it was such a random little story. But I thought it's interesting to know. Because I have never really thought about the fact that, A, people even buy turtles. Or let alone the fact that I struggle with the concept of people abandoning a pet. I find my brain just goes, I don't get it. I can't understand how you could do that. Like, don't get me wrong, I had a dog once and I had to, I found him a new home, But I wouldn't have just abandoned him on a farm or something. That's crazy.
I think you get some ignorant people who feel like, hey, I'm setting it free into the wild. It'll take care of itself. It'll be happy.
I feel like that's copium. That's copium to make them feel like they're not pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Actually, I like this comment here from Cal Lehman. I would think baby turtles would last long around eels. You know what? Very fair point. Eels are pretty hardcore. But yeah, apparently that's what's up with the turtles. Is there anything else? I'm just gonna make sure we haven't missed anything. There was one article we could go through, but I think we might save that for next week because it's about the fact that despite decades of cost cutting, the government still spends more than ever. And it was a pretty good deep dive into it. But I think we'll definitely save that for next time. I'm thinking. I also totally realized that I was going to organize a song to play at the end of this, and I haven't done the outro yet. Oh yeah, I know. That's why I was like, I don't expect you to. So I was like on Spotify last night, looking at trying to figure out which ones were DMCA free, which means I'm just gonna keep buffering for time because
I'll do it this week once we figure out my mic issues.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like mic issues come before all.
I think so too.
We need to hear your beautiful voice without that weird tin ass bullshit. But hey, I mean, we're still starting, we're still young, we're still babies. We're allowed to have these what would you call them? Issues?
Bad boy.
Yeah, let's go for that one. Fuck it.
Teething issues, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. But because I didn't download the song, I'm just gonna fucking play it off YouTube. Let's fucking go. Actually, this video is actually our banger. Fuck it. We can watch this at the end of our thing. Well, for those of you who don't know BB No Money, he is a Canadian rapper. He's pretty great. He's awesome. He's a total ally as well. So we love him for that. And I forgot because I was like, this is the song I'll pick, but then I forgot it has a really awesome video. So fuck it, we ball. This is just how we're gonna in the night. I'm making sure I don't see anything in the chat that's important that needs to be checked out. No, we're good. So you'll probably see on your screen. That's BB No Money in drag. So we're getting an awesome drag song. Wow, drag video.
Get in, honey.
Oh, hey, no dick.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. You ready to get this?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh shit.
Oh shit.
That was neutral, baby.
Sorry, yeah, no, BB's in the pink.
Now we're off.
That's Jimbo.
Bad boy, I'm quite slit. See me doing numbers, I'm getting rich. I'm a baby boy, I need a cute shit. Laced it, don't tempt me with the broomstick. I'm a nut quick, then a dick quick. Put my goatee with a diamond cause a toothpick. I'm a rich one, finesse it with the coupon. Move it to the food time, why she tryna taste it? Do shit, Andrew made the beat hit. Baby on this money shit, I'm not a button politics. Go getter, man, I love cheddar. Also love feta, but the bread a little better. I'm a flash off, Balenciaga TikTok. Watch your drip drop with my fucking wristwatch. Big cheese, you crumble like some feta. Two bitches, might just call it double header. I'm a think fast, never coming last. Going by the bar review, check the contrast. Take our blast off, blowing like a Molotov. Baby bar sound on me hard, but the hell is off. Take the cell, so I learn from there. Then I turn it around, and I make a rap. I'ma cash that. Course I went to math class, adding all these zeros, yeah. I only said the first class. I'ma dip out, straining for the clout. Always gotta pull out, yeah. Baby never sell out. I'ma pipe down like I'm little toe. Do a 10K show, yeah. I'm Mountain Guan Joe. I'ma move slow, always for the dodo. Eyes low, but I ain't trying to use my elbows. I'ma strike out, yeah. I'm going all out. Baby only spend a couple bucks when I cash out. Bad boy, and I quite slit. See me doing numbers, I'm getting rich. I'm a baby boy, I need a cute shit. Laced it, don't tempt me with the broomstick. I'm a nut quick, then a dick quick. Put my goatee with a diamond cause a toothpick. I'm a rich one, finesse it with the coupon. Move it to the food time, why she tryna taste it? Do shit, Andrew made the beat hit. Baby on this money shit, I'm not a button politics. Go getter, man, I love cheddar. Also love feta, but the bread a little better. I'm a flash off, Balenciaga TikTok. Watch your drip drop with my fucking wristwatch. I'm a big cheese, you crumble like some feta. Two bitches, I just call it double header. I'ma do it live 5 alive, pull of money, let me die. Pepper fit 30 year, even if you 45. I'ma fly out. LAX, do a couple shows for a couple chicks. Man, I really think I'm fucking next. I'ma splash, yeah, just like gravy. I'ma tie my shoes and pipe your late. I'ma tour the world, I'ma headline shit. I'ma rule the world. Trust me, bitch. I'ma cop shit, done shit. Pull it with a nerve and a cocktail. So you know I'm really gonna pop shit. I'm a big boy from the north, top 10. By myself, west side. Baby finally getting to his ends. Ayy, go so hard, yeah, like every time. It's directly correlated to them dimes. I'ma keep my name till I tell me rich. Yeah, baby, no money, I'll never switch.
And now everyone has an idea of the kind of music that I listen to. So
What
I hope...
is that the same person that did the Chuck a Landlord and Landfill?
No, that's a different artist. But I should see if we could, maybe we can get away with watching Landlord and a Landfill next week.
I mean, that one's pretty good.
But I thought that's a fun little way we can just enjoy a little music video before we just awkwardly end this broadcast because we don't have anything else. So we will be back here again same time next week, I believe. If there's any changes, we'll let you know.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Exactly. Otherwise, make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and we'll catch you guys next week, and I'll catch y'all on next Friday.
Tell your enemies as well.
Yeah, tell everyone. All right, night-night.